Hello and welcome to Ani's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Screaming Skulls of Shalfleet. Holly Arnold had always been drawn to the eerie corners of the Isle of Wight, those places where history bled into folklore, where the air felt heavy with the weight of the past. So when she heard whispers about the Screaming Skulls of Shalfleet, she knew she had to see them for herself. The legends were old, stitched into the fabric of the village like a curse. They spoke of skulls locked away in the crypt of St. Michael's Church, skulls that howled through the night if disturbed. The tales varied. Some claimed they belonged to executed criminals, others that they were the remains of a family slaughtered in a betrayal centuries ago. But one thing was certain: those who dared to challenge the legend often met untimely ends. Holly arrived in Shalfleet just before dusk, the village enshrouded in a spectral mist rolling in from the Solent. St. Michael's Church loomed ahead, its withered stone walls blackened with age, the graveyard littered with moss-covered tombstones that slanted like broken teeth. Despite the growing unease prickling her skin, she pushed open the heavy oak door and stepped inside. The interior was hushed, dust motes drifting in the candlelight. At the far end of the nave, Reverend Carver watched her warily. "You're here about the skulls, aren't you?" he murmured. Holly nodded. His face paled. She pressed on. "I've heard the stories, but I need proof. People say the skulls scream at night." Carver exhaled, his gaze darting to the floor. "Because they were wronged, the earth would not take them, nor would the sea. They were buried, but their souls were restless." He cut himself off, shaking his head. Ignoring his warning, Holly descended the stone steps to the crypt, her flashlight flickering against the damp walls. The air was thick with decay, the scent of old earth, and something more putrid lurking beneath it. The silence pressed in, heavy and expectant, as if the very walls held their breath. She stopped before a wooden chest bound with iron, slid slightly ajar. Inside, 3 skulls rested upon a tattered cloth. The hollow sockets seemed to watch her. The largest had deep cracks, as if it had been struck violently. The second was smaller, its teeth bared in a frozen snarl. The third a faint whisper curled around her ears, barely more than a breath, but its scent iced down her spine. Then a shrill, blood-curdling scream erupted, ricocheting off the stone walls. Holly clutched her ears, the sound splitting through her skull, reverberating in her bones. The crypt grew colder, the air pressing against her as if unseen hands were clawing at her throat. She stumbled back, her flashlight shaking. The skulls began to tremble, rattling against the chest, their unearthly wails growing in intensity. Shadows bled from the corners, shifting, twisting, forming figures skeletal, eyeless, reaching. A gust of wind howled through the crypt, though there were no windows, no open doors. The very air pulsed with something ancient and vengeful. Then the whisper returned, clearer this time. Holly's breath came in short gasps. She had expected folklore, perhaps superstition. But this was something real, something clawing at the edges of reality, demanding to be heard. The walls shuddered, dust cascading from the ceiling. The ground beneath her feet trembled. She turned and ran, her pulse hammering. As she reached the top of the stairs, the church doors slammed open with a forceful gust of wind. Reverend Carver stood there, horror etched across his face. "You should not have gone down there." The screams followed her beyond the church, weaving through the village, rattling windows and shaking doors. The people of Shalfleet cowered inside their homes, bolting shutters, whispering prayers. The legend had been disturbed. The curse had been reignited. Holly fled into the night, but the screams never left her. They followed her, echoed in her mind, in her dreams, in every shadowed corner she passed. Her reflection in the mirror would flicker, distorting the skull's hollow sockets merging with her own. She would wake at night, throat raw from screaming, though she did not remember doing so. She was bound to them now, and they would never let her go. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.